Yes. Okay. Yeah. Hi. Good afternoon and welcome everyone. Today we are going to talk on the topic of how Huawei leads the ICT industry with intellectual property rights. We are going to explore the fascinating story of how Huawei, starting from very humble beginnings, to become a global leader in ICT. Today's topic is not only about Huawei's technology, but how Huawei, by mastering the strategic use of IP, become one of the world leader in ICT industry. Uh, I would like to briefly introduce myself. My name is Lok. I'm a qualified lawyer for both Singapore and Malaysia, and also a registered patent and trademark and design agent. I'm the founding members of Pintas IP Group, a boutique IP firm based in Southeast Asia. And we have more than 20 years experience working with companies, with inventors, with entrepreneurs to protect their patents, their trademark, their industrial design, and to build strategies that transform ideas into competitive moat. And I'm happy to have two of my co-speakers here today, Mr. Kui Eng Teck and Mr. Chong Yi Peng. Both of them are patent engineers in Pintas IP Group. Mr. Kui has a master in electrical and electronic engineering from University of Nottingham. He is a senior patent engineer with us, many years of patent experience in the ICT field. And also Mr. Chong Yi Peng, who is also a patent engineer with a Master of Electrical and Electronic Engineering from Imperial College London. So they will bring to the table the more technical aspect of Huawei's technologies and Huawei's patent, while I will deliberate more on the strategy and the legal side. Okay, so let's dive into Huawei. Huawei is a name that needs little introduction. Headquarters in Shenzhen, China, it has grown into the world's largest telecommunication equipment manufacturer and also a major force in the 5G market. What is interesting is how Huawei's journey with intellectual property rights has been central to its growth. IP was a deliberate strategy by Huawei to protect market share, to secure profit margin, and ultimately to create immense value to its shareholder. So today's discussion is not just about Huawei's technology, but about what IP can do as an invisible weapon for Huawei success. Okay, a short corporate overview of Huawei. We can do a little bit of rewind. Huawei was founded 30 years back in 1987 by Ren Zhengfei with an initial capital of US dollar $3,500 in capital. Started off as a company, a reseller of telecommunication switches from Hong Kong. Moving forward in 1990, it started to manufacture its own switches. In year 2000, started to explore overseas market. 2011, started to enter the smartphone business. And by 2018, it has already shipped 200 million smartphones, overtaking Apple to become the second largest handphone manufacturer in the world. 2019, it was blacklisted by US Department of Trade. It was sanctioned by America. But against all odds, in 2024, Huawei bounced back. It supplied products to 170 countries, supporting telecommunication needs of 1/3 of the world population. It posted a sales of 800 over billion renminbi with a profit of 63 billion renminbi. So this is the track record of Huawei in a short 30 years, right? It has grown from a very humble beginning to be the world's largest telecommunication and ICT players. And it wasn't a smooth journey for Huawei. As we all know, along the way, Huawei faced many accusations. In 2019, it was accused of, it faced espionage accusation. It faced sanction from the US government. Its CFO was arrested in Canada, and it also faced a global ban on 5G. And 2019 was a hard year. Revenue fell 30%, profit fell by 70%. Many people would have written off the company at that time. But Huawei seems to have this uncanny ability to turn adversity into opportunity. It was forced to replace 13,000 foreign components because many things were actually banned to Huawei, including the chips, including the operating system. So it has to replace all these foreign components with domestic innovation. And by 2023, it staged a spectacular bounce back and recovery, and profit surged 500 over percent. And if you look at the smartphone, Huawei also was sanctioned by the US government. It was forced to rely on its own chip because certain advanced chip was denied to them, and also they were also denied access to the Android operating system. So it has to start its own Harmony OS, right, to power its smartphone. But in 2024, it managed to regain market share, smartphone market share in China, and it managed to catch up and to rival sales of Apple phone in China. It is on par with China in 2024. And despite all this sanction and 5G sanction, Huawei continued to lead the global telecom equipment market in 2023 and 2024 with 30% market share. It has 30% market share, followed by other traditional players like Nokia and Ericsson. So what was meant to cripple Huawei actually make it stronger, make it more self-reliant and more determined. And the resilience was possible because Huawei has already built deep capability in innovation and also in IP. So this is the Huawei's R&D table, right? As we can see, Huawei's comeback wasn't an accident. It was built on one of the most aggressive R&D strategy in the industry. We can see that the Huawei R&D has grown steadily over the year. In 2018, let me check this. In 2018, it has spent renminbi 100 billion in R&D, which represent 14% of its revenue, right? It's very high. Part of its revenue is reinvested into R&D. And by 2023, its R&D budget reached a 23 billion US dollar. Yeah, putting it in the same league as Amazon, Alphabet, Meta, Apple, and Microsoft, right? The massive R&D investment has become the foundation of its competitive strategy. So what is Huawei competitive strategy? For this, I would like to turn to Michael Porter's generic competitive strategies framework. So according to Michael Porter's framework, right, there are three ways to compete. First, you either compete on cost, become a cost leader. Second, you differentiate your product. And thirdly, you choose where to focus, where is your niche market. These are the three ways to compete. Any firm must develop their business strategy in either one of the three directions. And a firm which is stuck in the middle, meaning you become everything to everyone, you can cheap and differentiated, and you target everything, will be in a poor competitive position, right? So what is Huawei generic competitive strategy? We can see that Huawei started with cost leadership. Initially, when it started the business, it makes equipment cheaper than its rival to enter the market, right? It adopted cost leadership. But over time, it pivoted to differentiation. It starts to spend a lot of money in R&D and create unique, desirable products. So Huawei's strategy was like building a ladder. First step was to focus on low cost to enter the market, and next step was to innovate and to dominate the market with and start to protect those innovation with patents and also with standard essential patents, which we will talk about later on for the Huawei's case. So what keeps competitors at bay, right? Warren Buffett called it economic moat. For any business who wants to have sustainable competitive advantage, meaning it is able to continue to generate profit for not now but foreseeable future, you need to have an economic moat. For Huawei, the economic moat is intellectual property, its patent, its proprietary technology, its trademark, its IP has become Huawei's economic moat, a barrier that protect it from its competitor and allow it to generate profit long into the future. So intellectual property is indeed the engine of growth for Huawei. Huawei did not only rely on cost or on government support, it built its business empire on intellectual property. So with patents and with standard essential patent or SEP, it managed to safeguard its invention and also safeguard its influence in the global standards. With trademark, it owns, it builds its brand. With industrial design, it protects its outlook of the product, and also with copyright, it protects its content. So IP is not just a legal tool, right? The one of the key purpose of having this case study is to show that IP is not just a legal tool. For Huawei and for many businesses that would like to lead and would like to excel, it is the engine of growth. Okay, before we dive into the Huawei case studies, let us quickly revisit some of the basic of IP for the audience that is new to the world of IP. I think we can just share a little bit on the fundamentals of IP. So we have patents, different kind of IP. Patents protects inventions. It can be a machine, it can be a process, it can be a composition of matter. Copyright protects original expression, contents. It can be your source code. It can be your creative work. Trademark protects your identity, your brands, your name, your promises to the consumer. And trade secrets protects the know-how that give you a competitive edge. In essence, by registering your idea as an IP, you turn your idea into an asset, right? And it gives you a monopoly, the rights to sell, to make, to manufacture, or to use commercially your idea within Specific jurisdiction, all IPs are jurisdictional, so you need to file it in your key market if you want to own it in that market, and also it has time frame. Every IP have a lifespan, so it is valid during the lifespan. And Huawei mastered this playbook very well. Every piece of Huawei's technology, any new brand, any new products, is all well shaded by IP, and without which innovation will slip away, competitor will copy away your your edge. But with strong IP, innovation become a fortress. Okay, what are the basic function of IP? It serves two basic functions. First, it is a legal barrier of entry, right? If you have a new invention and you put in a lot of investment to build the invention, you need to make sure competitor can't just come in and take away your ideas, right? So this is a barrier of entry, and it also ensure you freedom to operate. So when you don't have this IP, sometimes if the idea is already owned by someone, there's no freedom to operate for you to operate in the market. So IP can also be a defensive tool to give you freedom to operate. And also, today we'll be talking in length about the various patents filed by IP, filed by Huawei. So I think it is good that I talk a little bit also about patent. So what is patentable? If you want to file a patent, your invention has to meet three basic criteria. First is your invention has to be new. Second, it is inventive, meaning it is better. Third, it is useful, meaning it works. These are the three basic criteria that gets you a patent, right? You have a new combination, a new product that works better, and it has a better result and it works. These are the simple criteria. You don't need very complicated rocket science. If you piece together simple things in a new way, and this new combination deliver a better result, and it actually works in the real world, then you have a patentable invention. So patentable invention includes article of manufacture, article patent. For example, 3M Post-it tag. You combine paper and glue together, and this combination of paper and glue was new when 3M found the patent, and it delivered a better result. You can use it as a messenger, and it works, and you can own this combination by filing a patent. Machine patent is a combination of moving parts. Today, we are going to see a lot of machine patent by Huawei. It's a combine the moving parts together into a final product that deliver a result. Like, for example, a photocopying machine, you put the motor, the roller, everything together in one machine, and the effect is photocopying effect. And because the combination is new and it's better and it works, then Xerox managed to patent that combination. Process patent involve a combination of manipulative steps. Software is actually a process patent, right? You combine different steps together, deliver a result, then you can own that combination of steps by patenting the process. And composition of matter is about the ingredient you put together, and that ingredient combination can solve a problem, it can cure a disease. You can own the combination by filing a patent. This is how patents work. Patent is a combination game, right? You come up with a new combination, the combination is better, it's new, and it works. You can own that combination by filing a patent. That's the essence of it. My colleague afterwards will show to you, how Huawei solve certain technical problem by, coming up with some new combination, and they own the combination by claiming those combinations in the form of patents. Next, I would like to share with you the Huawei innovation journey. This is how Huawei progressed from its very humble beginning to become a global leader in innovation. Huawei's innovation journey started in 1995, which is relatively late, right? And its first patent was filed in China in 1995, and it filed the first overseas patent in 1999, right? Relatively latecomer to the world of patent, but yet it progressed by leaps and bounds. By 2008, WIPO was ranked by WIPO ranked Huawei as the top filer of PCT patents application in 2008, right? Already the largest filer of patent in, from the time they first filed their patent. And 2019, Huawei was number 2 in Europe in terms of patent application in Europe, and number 10 in terms of patent application in US. By the end of 2020, Huawei became the China largest patent holder with more than 100,000 active patents and coming from 40,000 patent families. So 20 years to become the largest in China with so many patents. And the leadership translate into real value. According to Huawei white paper on innovation and intellectual property rights, Huawei generated 1.2 to 1.3 billion US dollar in patent licensing revenue between year 2019 and year 2021. So this is a proof that innovation is not about technology, it is about creating sustainable return to company, right? You can make revenue through patents. So now let's turn to Huawei's trademark story, right? So Huawei understand very early that technology alone is not enough, right? You need to have a strong brand and you need to have trademarks to protect the brands globally. So Huawei's trademark portfolio safeguard both its corporate brands and also its sub-brands. So the Huawei logo, the Huawei word mark, the Huawei mark in Chinese character, those trademarks anchored Huawei global house brand protection, right? Its house brand are protected by the logo, the word mark, and also the Chinese mark. And also Huawei protects the trademarks for its sub-brand, also sub-brands trademark. Trademarks like Harmony OS or Hongmen. Yeah, this is a self-developed operating system developed, forced by America, to launch in response to the US trade restriction when it was banned from Google Android. So it has to come out with its own operating system, and Harmony OS is the brand for the operating system. And Huawei also have sub-brands for smartphone like Mate, Nova, and Honor. These are the sub-brands for Huawei smartphone. But Honor is now a standalone brand because it was spun off in year 2020 in response to the US trade sanction. So Honor now is a separate brand, but this was it originated from Huawei's portfolio. Huawei also have sub-brands trademark to cover its chips. You have Qilin and also Kunpeng. These are the two brands for the Huawei's chips. And Huawei also had to come up with its own proprietary apps distribution platform called Apps Gallery. When Huawei was cut off from the Android ecosystem, it has no access to Google Play. So it has to come up with its own app distribution platform, which is called Apps Gallery, and this is also a sub-brand trademark. In automotive, Huawei has also come up with multiple brands like Aito, Wenjie, and all these are brands covering the automotive marks. So let's look at Huawei trademark strategies. Huawei trademark strategy was both comprehensive and meticulous. The reason what I say that is Huawei built a strong brand portfolio by protecting as trademarks not only their Huawei house brand, but they also protect it in its localized form. The Huawei name in local script and languages. when it enters different market, like when it goes to Arabic market, it is pronounced as Huawei, right? So that is also trademark in the Arabic form, uh, and also in different other local languages. This ensure that the brands in the local brands are well protected in the local market. When Huawei protects its trademark, it also protects the mark in variance form to defensively. It is a defensive protection. It protects Huawei in its phonetic variation, in its abbreviation, in its homoform version, so that no other cyber squatter can come in and to try to dilute the mark and create confusion in the market. So when Huawei register the mark, it register in different pinging, in different homophones. Yeah, this is how meticulous, right, to ensure there is no dilution of the mark by bad faith actors. And also, when Huawei register their trademark, it covers the series, product series name and sub-brands. Like for example, what we have shown just now, the Mate trademark, the Nova trademark, the Harmony OS sub-brands are all protected to ensure that the entire product ecosystem, names used in the entire product ecosystem are also protected. And if you look at the filing strategy of Huawei, Huawei also protects the mark early, usually 3 years before the launching of the products, fully aligned with the product roadmap, so that when products enters the market, the mark is already registered. So the mark will take probably 1 to 2 years from application to registration. So trademarks are filed early, and also filed globally through the global Madrid system, right? Huawei is one of the heavy user of the Huawei Madrid system, and also comprehensively cover most of the important classes. In the case of Huawei, Huawei registered trademarks mainly in class 9 that covers electronics, class 38 that covers telecom, 42 software services, 35 retail. These are the key classes, so that so when Huawei's brand expand into new product categories, they own the mark in those categories. So as a result, right, if you look at the statistics, Huawei builds a trademark portfolio which has staggering numbers. All in all, it has over 20,000 global trademark application. Out of the 20,000, 10,000 are in China. Those trademarks covered 45 product categories, which are protected in different classes, class 9, 38, 42, and 35. And class 9 alone, it has more than 5,000 trademarks application. So this is the statistics of Huawei's trademarks. Okay, so when Huawei enter into the smart car industry, right, it came up with a very innovative trademark strategy. It initiated something called the Hongmen Intelligent Mobility Alliance ecosystem. So what it did is Huawei became both a trademark incubator. It incubates trademark, and it licensed out the trademarks to the different car manufacturer. So it created, right, in this under this strategy, Huawei created and built powerful sub-brands like Aito, Wenjie, or Lucid, Zijie, or Aojie, and also Xiangjie, different Jie, okay? And it works with different car companies, right? And when the marks become matured, right, like Aito, Wenjie, it sold the trademark to a series, a car company, for 2.5 billion yen. And they repeated this with Cherry, they sold the Zhijie to Cherry, Xiangjie to JSC, and also Xiangjie to Beiqi, and also Aojie to JAC. So by doing so, right, using this strategy, Huawei has developed a trademark-based business model that generate big profits. They build the trademark, they sold to the partners, and they continue to license the technology, the Harmony OS technology, the autonomous driving technology, the Drive One powertrain technology to this car company. So this car company will do the manufacturing, they take charge of the branding, they take charge of the sales, and they license the technology. And this brand was actually developed initially by Huawei and sold to them. And by doing so, right, it is a seamless win-win ecosystem. And this is driven by very deep IP expertise. So the takeaway is, trademarks are not just legal protection, it's a strategic asset, right? It can be a shield for protection, it can be a sword for enforcement, it can also be a lucrative asset which you can develop and you can sell to your partners and continue to work together. Okay, so with that, I would like to move to patent, right? So Huawei's patent. Huawei, in 2022, Huawei is the top filer of patents in China with 5,800 patents. It is the leader in the number of patents filed in China. And let's look at the statistics of Huawei's patent. As of March 2025, Huawei hold 240,000 patents worldwide, belonging to more than 107 unique families, out of which 158,000 patents are still active. And many of these patents are filed in their key markets like China. China received the most filing with 92,000 patents, followed by US, Europe, India, and Japan. And if you look at the statistics, the filing trend, you can see the pattern has risen over time, steadily over time, from 700 patents in 2000 to 23,000 in 2020. Okay, so it's a growing trend. Many of the later patents are not published yet, so we can't see, in 2021, but we can see an uptrend in the patent filing by Huawei. And patent portfolio by technology area, Huawei filed the most patent in the networking side, followed by software, computer system, and consumer electronics. So these patents filed by Huawei are not just defensive patents. They are deeply tied to Huawei's innovation, from the foldable smartphone to the 5G base station. So now I would like to call upon my colleague, Mr. Chong, to share some patents relating to the smartphone. First, we would like to start with this Huawei Mate XT Ultimate, right? This is a product that has been making a lot of wave lately. It is the first tri-fold smartphone in the market. And this product is protected by dozens of patents covering tri-fold display, covering rotating shaft, laminated screen, antenna housing, and all these patents strengthen the product and create a barrier of entry, a fortress that competitors cannot breach. So I would like Mr. Chong to share with you how some of those innovative features in the phone is being protected.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lord. So good afternoon, my name is Chong. I'll be sharing with you the patents that have been filed by Huawei with respect to this specific product. So as we know, foldable phones has been gaining more and more traction in the past few years, with Huawei along with Samsung pioneering the foldable phone market. And this device in particular was launched back in 2024 but you'll see many patents filed by them back in 2023, and early 2024. So we'll start with one of the many patents filed by Huawei in China, and we'll start off with one of the core aspect of the device, which is the display. So this is one of the examples of patents filed in China back in 2023 September by Huawei, and it covers the display. So this was the patent filed by them. And claim one is basically describes is the main claim of the invention. It covers the most basic the invention in its most basic form. So if you look over on the left in the figure, it shows that the display that's used in this particular foldable phone is actually a dual layer composite laminated structure. And in claim one, it covers how it basically protects the invention. It protects the combination of the first layer along with the second layer. So the first layer in this specific patent is high modulus material, meaning it has high stiffness, and the second layer is energy absorbing and impact resistant material. So combined, they combine those combined, they'll provide a impact resistant display, so it's more even explosion proof and absorbs energy better, so it's more long lasting and durable. Next up, they also file software patents. It's not just hardware patents that they file for this product, and this particular patent is also filed in China in 2023, back in March by Huawei. This is a patent that covers how content is split into different portions of the screen. So as we can see here, the trifold is actually compared to your usual conventional foldable phones, which has two sides of the screen. The trifold actually has three housings with three displays connected, which allows it to be folded in and out. And this software patent covers how the product can be the apps and the content can be split into different parts of the screen. For this patent, it covers the most basic version of the invention. So claim one just covers how content can be split between a first page and a second page, which is located side by side. And each screen can be operated separately and individually. So it allows the developers to develop apps more easily, and it's more user friendly. Going back to the hardware patents that I filed, this is also back in March 2023 by Huawei in China. And this is more so about the dual rotating shafts present in the device. So the device, as you can see in the picture, is comprises of three housings, which has the displays with one foldable display, and the shafts are located in between those three housings. This is a patent filed by them with a planar view, and this claim, the main claim of the patent, it looks lengthy, but in essence, it covers the combination of first shaft located between the screen on the left and the screen in the middle, and the second shaft located between the middle screen and the screen on the right. So anyone who tries to copy this specific design would be infringing upon this patent. And this patent allows them to protect this, particularly this shaft that allows the phone to be folded inwards and outwards. The phone itself can even be used in a dual screen method or three screen method, or if you want to carry it around more easily, you can use it with just one screen. Last but not least, we'll talk about this patent, which covers the antenna radiation performance. So compared to the conventional phone designs, they were facing the problem of having weak signal, weak NFC connections. So for this, they innovated and specifically on how the antenna is placed on the foldable phone and how it's angled between those displays. As you can see here, it's not just claim 1 this time. Claim 1 covers the most basic combination of the invention, while claim 2 are just different embodiments of the invention. So this patent specifically protects how the antenna is placed in the middle housing, in the middle display, and it covers how the antenna is angled between those displays as well. And this essentially maximizes the signal strength and it minimizes signal noise so that signal can be collected more easily, and NFC, all that connection wise, it's all functions seamlessly with this placement of the antenna, which is basically the sensor on the phone. So after this, I'll hand it back to Mr. Lok and he'll describe to you the rest.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chong. Next, I would like to also look at some of the Huawei's breakthrough in the ICT technology. So Huawei's journey to technological leadership is always a story of consistently solving the industrial toughest problem, from conquering mountainous terrain with distributed base station in 1999 to simplifying the network upgrading with the single rank technology in 2007 to make a telecom unit more compact by modularizing it and using the blade shapes telecom blade site to pioneering the powerful massive MIMO for 5G. So all these 4 areas of technology, all these technological breakthroughs are fortified by a robust portfolio of patent, securing not only its technological advantages, but also to ensure commercial freedom to operate in the global market. So we have compiled and summarized some of the key patents which are going to be presented by my colleague in this handbook. If you're interested, you can download and take a look, take a read. But I will let my colleague, Mr. Kui, to share on these ICT patents by Huawei.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lok. So good afternoon. My name is Mr. Kui, and I will go through the Huawei ICT patent applications today. So the first patent application or technology we're going to talk about is the distributed base station. So Huawei revolutionized the base station design by splitting a single base station into 2, basically splitting into a baseband unit and a radio remote unit. So this was done so that the remote radio unit can be installed on the top of the mountain, and the baseband unit and the remote radio unit are both linked via optical fiber for data communication. So this setup provided a simplified deployment, improved maintenance, and improved connectivity to the remote mountainous regions of China. And furthermore, this invention was a breakthrough for Huawei in that it allowed Huawei to earn China Unicom's trust and elevated Huawei's reputation as a reputable telecommunications provider. Furthermore, later on, when Huawei entered the European market, this technology also became one of the core technologies that were brought into the European market. So the patent application relevant to the digital base station is as shown over here. This Chinese patent application which describes improvements for communication infrastructure for multiple distributed base stations, and the claim of this patent application as is shown over here. So the problem faced at that time before this patent application was that when connecting between the base station, a base station on the ground and a base station on the mountain, the signals will be converted into analog and transmitted to the base stations on the mountain through fiber optic, and that resulted that infrastructure had a lot of problems with it. When you send the signals, it will there will be losses when the signal travels over long distances. So to resolve this, Huawei just made a simple switch, a simple change actually. They just first they converted the analog signals into digital signals first, then they transmitted the digital signals over fiber optic cable to multiple base stations. So by doing so, the signal that is received by the base stations at the mountain are of higher fidelity and do not have significant data losses. So the next patent application, next technological area we will discuss will be about single WAN. So single WAN, this pertains to simplifying upgrading of cellular base stations. So for example, this single WAN technology allowed base stations to upgrade from 2G to 3G to 4G while all running at a single network. So instead, by having this single WAN technology, instead of building multiple systems at a single location, all the equipment can be unified into a singular equipment that supports multiple telecommunication standards. And as relevant single WAN patent application will be this PCT patent application, which describes a base station that supports multiple wireless access standards that can dynamically choose an appropriate transmission network based on the wireless standards used. And the claim of this patent application is as such. Basically, it describes a method. This is one of the method claims. There are also other device and system claims. So within this patent application, it describes a base stations that support multiple wireless access standards, and wherein this wireless access standard is selected according to what needs to be selected based on the use case. So moving on, the next next technological area we will discuss will be Huawei's blade sight. So Huawei's blade sight is basically on-site equipment that will keep, store or keep all the transmission components at the site. So Huawei basically invented the telecommunication site by providing a more modular and a more temperature cool power saving solution, wherein the modular sites can be stacked like Lego bricks. At present, the blade site technology has been deployed across over 300 networks across 170 countries, and more 15 million of these blade sites have been used in live networks. So right now, the Huawei blade sight equipment has been seen as a de facto industry standards, and other vendors have followed Huawei's footsteps to launch their own version of the product. So among the blade sight patent applications, we will discuss two relevant patent applications today. So the first patent application is as shown here, which describes a radio remote unit, basically the blade sight, which can be stacked or connected to another radio remote unit, another blade sight of the same. So within the claim here, is described that it's a radio remote unit comprising an enclosure that has heat sinks to provide temperature management, and furthermore, there is also a joint part set to the enclosure. This will be the joint part shown that allows the radio remote unit to be stacked or attached to another radio remote unit of the same. So another relevant patent application to this technology is shown here, which more or less describes the same thing actually. And if you look closer to these two applications, they are actually the second patent application seen here is actually a continuation patent application of the first one that I previously discussed. So if you explore closely into these two patent applications, they are basically talking about covering two different versions of the radio remote unit. So the first patent application, as previously discussed, it was talking about the device having an enclosure and a joint part. And the second patent application here is talking about the enclosure and a threaded screw on the enclosure that allows attachment of the joint part. So the second patent application actually doesn't talk about the joint part as part of the application. It more focuses on the portions of the remote device that allows attachment of the joint part. So over here, we can see that one of Huawei strategies is apparent here, where in one invention can have two different patent applications to protect two different embodiments or versions of the invention. So following this, we'll move on finally to Huawei's MIMO technology. So MIMO means multiple input, multiple output, wherein, for example, there will be multiple inputs from the base station that will be broadcasted to multiple user devices in an area. So Huawei's patents just to note, MIMO itself isn't exactly a new technology, but Huawei had worked on innovations that help in the commercialization and deployment of MIMO technology in a cost-effective manner. So among them are these three technological areas: hybrid beamforming, channel compression, antenna design. We'll be discussing about hybrid beamforming and antenna design today. So the hybrid beamforming patent application is as shown here. And this is one of the key claims within this patent application about the hybrid beamforming. So within this patent application, it basically states that there's a base station, a digital base station that connected to a radio frequency chain with multiple antennas. Wherein these antennas, they will broadcast the beam towards a specific user equipment on the ground. So this technology basically intends to provide a low-cost solution, because previously in previous designs, one RF chain, one radio frequency chain could only have one specific antenna. So by allowing the RF chain to have multiple antennas, they can further control the beam characteristics of the beam that is directed to the user equipment. Then the next patent application we will discuss will be about the antenna design for the massive multiple input MIMO technology for support the antenna design for supporting massive MIMO. So basically, in a MIMO setup, there are times when the equipment or devices may need to broadcast direct beams to a single direction or broadcast the beam to multiple directions. And at the time before this patent application, there were difficulties in allowing the transmitters of the devices to select between which transmitter to use for the use case. So in this patent application, Huawei basically provided a solution whereby there will be two different sets of power amplifiers that will both power to a corresponding antenna for enabling the transmitter to either perform or amplify the broadcast signal that is radiated into multiple directions, or they can choose to amplify or broadcast a unicast signal into a single direction. So this is basically the gist of the ICT technological patents that have been patented by Huawei. Moving on, I will pass the floor back to Mr. Lok.
Thank you, Mr. Kui. I hope you can understand the very technical patent filed by Huawei. Next, I would like to look at the final part of my presentation today. It is to talk about the standard essential patent, right? So Huawei does not file only patents related to 5G technology. It also helped to shape the standards. It leading the world both in setting the 5G standard and also filing a lot of 5G standard essential patents or SEP. So why do we need, what is SEP? Why do we need ICT standards? So let us step back for a moment to understand why we need standards in telecom, right? So standard are the global language of technology, right? Without standards, our phone here cannot talk to network in Europe, cannot talk to network in US. Devices will not be compatible, communication will break down, innovation will stall. So standard provides interoperability and so that billions of telecommunication devices can connect seamlessly. So that's why we have the standard settings organizations, in short form SSO, in the world, to help set the standard and to set the rules of the game. So whoever shaped the standards, shaped the industry, and Huawei understand this very well and participate actively in the standardization bodies relating to telco, relating to IT, and some emerging technological standard. So next, Huawei is the leader in standard essential patent for 5G. So what is a standard essential patent? So standard essential patent is a special kind of patent. It protects the technology that is essential to a standard. So all the technology important to a standards, they are protected by the standard essential patent. So if you want to build a phone that connects to 5G, the phone must use the standard essential patents technology. There's no workaround because this is a standard and you have to use this standard to communicate. And that create the SEP are very powerful. It creates huge power. So to balance things out, right, the SEP owner, they must license their patents on frank term. Frank stand for fair, reasonable, and non-discriminatory terms, right? These are the terms that the SEP owners are compelled to license. These are the licensing terms for the SEP. And if you want to build any SEP are so powerful that if you need to build any 5G phone or any 5G network, you must use the patent and you have to license them from the SEP owner under the frank terms. So whoever controls the SEP controls the gateway to global network, right? So this is SEP. So what is the Huawei journey in the SEP evolution, right? How the SEP strategy evolved. So there, Huawei SEP strategy evolved in 4 stages. The first stage, between 1987 to 2002, Huawei was simply a follower. They follow the world standard, they learn the rules, they filed its first patent during those period. And the second period was the defense period, 2003, 2008. Then came lawsuits. Cisco sued Huawei for manufacturing products that breached some SEP. To defend itself, Huawei started to file more patent and use the patent to do cross-licensing and to negotiate with those patent owners. And then third came the breakthrough stage, 2009 to 2015. By this stage, Huawei was no longer a follower. It was starting to shape some standard. In fact, in 2008, right, during the 4G period, Huawei hold about 10% of the world LTE or the 4G standard patents. And then next, from 2016 to now, Huawei enter the sharing stage. It actively creates standards, it protects standard, it licenses out SEP. So Huawei's move from being a follower in the 90s to dependent in the 2000s to dominating LE4 and the 5G and shaping the technology through the standard essential patent. So how does Huawei participate in the standard setting? Huawei actively participates in more than 400 standardization bodies worldwide and submitted 60,000 proposals relating to technology on telecom, on IT, on some of the emerging technology. And today's Huawei with 6,500 patents hold the largest number of the 5G SEP patents worldwide. And this makes Huawei, right, the fourth runner in 5G, and backed by this fortress of patent. Every time, your phone stream video or, get connected to a 5G tower, chances are that, Huawei's SEP are working in the background. So the SEP, the Huawei SEP create a very powerful dual advantage. First, barrier of entry, competitor cannot come in. And secondly, you generate a steady stream of revenue income via licensing and, ensuring profitability and relevance for the long term. So I would like to end today's sharing, right? Today's presentation by sharing a 4 steps cycle that has drive Huawei SEP leadership. First, Huawei creates pioneers some new technology, patent the technology, and propose the technology to the various standard group. This is step 1. Through intensive high R&D investment, invent technology, patent. First, you must patent the technology through patent and propose to the standard group. And secondly, lobby to the standard group for its technology to be chosen as the standard. Of course, you have to work with all the other competitors to lobby for your technology to be chosen. And when that happens, Huawei will declare those patents essential to the technology as a SEP with the SSO, the standard body, and it has to license those technology out on frank terms. And with the revenue generated, right, you invest back into R&D. So it is a virtuous circle. With more investment, generate more SEP, and with more SEP, you make more money. So with that, right, this demonstrates how strategic intellectual property management can create sustainable competitive advantage in the technology sector. So thank you for your time.